Hi everyone, this is the video for the 16th of March. I am going to be out, so this is the answer key to the independent practice you did, and hopefully after watching this video you will be feeling like you are on the right track for your quiz. So this should have been done prior to watching the video, and this is just going to be the answer key for that work. So when you can see I've marked up this problem and I'm looking for coefficients. So I want to look for terms that have a variable in it, and it's the known factor in that variable term. So you can see that 5 is the coefficient, that 2 is the known factor, and that 6 is the known factor. So there are 3 of them. That should have been the answer for number 1. Number 2, we are looking for the expression that matches this phrase, 4 pounds more than 8 times the weight of Kiko's dog. Because I'm seeing this phrase more than, I know that I'm going to be using some addition. I see that my choices have addition, so I'm going to get rid of that one because it's just dealing with multiplication. And so now I need to figure out, is the 4 pounds the coefficient, the constant? So it's a constant here, it's a coefficient here. And do I have 8 being connected to that unknown? So we have to make sure that we know what our unknown is. So know the unknown. The weight of Kiko's dog is what we are going to call that K, that variable, okay? And so we have this 8 times the weight being connected with our words and our keywords. So I know that it's going to need to be 8K and then adding that 4 more. Okay, so we kind of dissected our words here to try to figure this out. 8 times the unknown is one piece, and then the 4 is the other piece. We worked a lot in this unit of talking about the structure of these expressions. So these are 2 things being added, and that matches letter A. Number 3, we wanted to, again, find the expression that matches 5 less than twice a number. Remember, this keyword less than tells you, wait a minute, this is not going to be write it as you read it. We have to take 5 from twice a number. Remember, those 2 words are meaning the same thing, and we have to make sure our 5 is after our subtraction. And then twice a number is going to be that number times 2, and that matches choice C. Number 4 was a pluck and plop. We talked about that towards the second half, and that's actually going to be the focus of the second quiz, the second half of lesson 16. We worked on evaluating expressions, so we're going to pluck out the variable y and plop in the 3 in this case. So in this kind of question, we have to try each choice until we actually get our correct answer. So our pluck and plop here would be 4, and then a 3 plus 2 minus 1. When we actually follow the order of operations, we're getting 4 times 5 minus 1, which is our 20, and that is 19. Now, if it had said choose all that apply, we would have to go and see if there are any more. Okay, so since this does say which one, we found it, and we can kind of verify that 3 squared plus 9 is 18, because 3 squared is 9, 3 times 3, which is 9, and 9 plus 9, is 18. So that one didn't work. and we can go through the others and see that they don't work. However, on your quiz, you're going to have a choose all that apply. So you're going to have to pluck and plop in each choice case to see if it will equal whatever the answer is that they're being asked of, that you're being asked of. All right, let's go on to number 5. This one was a little bit more involved. However, this one is very similar to a question that you're going to see in your quiz. So Keenan gives Tisha half of his strawberries. Tisha keeps 4 of them and then gives the rest to Sir V. Write an expression for the number of strawberries Tisha gives Sue V. Use K as our variable, meaning the number of strawberries that Keenan started with. So we don't know how many strawberries there are in the bucket. So what we know is that she's splitting it up and keeping 4. So an expression for the number of strawberries that she gives to Sir V, I believe is how you say that, Suvi, excuse me, there we go, is going to be after she splits it in half and after she keeps 4. How many are there? So I'm going to start with all of them and I'm going to split them in half. I'm going to divide it by 2. There's a couple of ways we could write that. I'm choosing to show that using a fraction. And then after I do that, I'm going to keep 4 of them for Tisha. So we could rewrite it. I'm going to switch here. With, instead of dividing by 2, we could multiply the total by half. Remember, multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2, and then subtract 4. These 2 expressions would be either one. You could technically write it a third way if you like the horizontal way of doing that division of dividing by 2 and then subtracting 4, if you really wanted to go there. All right. So now the question, and this is going to be very similar to what you're going to have in your quiz. So hopefully this made sense when you tried it on your own. If he had 6 strawberries total, could this work? So let's pluck and plop and see. If we take 6 and divide it in half, we get 3. Can we take 3 strawberries and keep 4 and still have enough to give to someone else? No, there's not enough. Okay, so because of this is a negative situation. 3 minus 4 is going to be -1. We don't have enough strawberries to do this. So could he had started with 6 strawberries? No. And let's explain why. There's not enough for Tisha to keep 4 because she only has 3 strawberries. I'm just going to put ST for right now because I ran out of room. But that's the idea. Understanding that, hey, we need more than 6 in order for this to work. In fact, what is the number that we actually need? I believe, if I'm correct. Nope, this is where your question ended. But I'm going to just extend this a little bit more just because I know what's on your quiz. So bonus benefit for you guys watching this video. If she had, what would be the bare minimum of strawberries for this to be something that she could do? If you're splitting it in half, you want to at least have 5 strawberries after you're splitting it in half, right? Because then 5 minus 4, you could at least give whatever her name is, Suvi, you could at least give her 1. The problem with that is that you can't split an odd number in half because, but if you had 10 strawberries, you could get that 5 after splitting it in half, then giving you 1 left over. That's the bare minimum. Okay, so you can't split 9 strawberries in half. That's what I was referring to before. If you had 9, you can't split an odd number in half. Okay, so that part wouldn't work. That's why I have to go to 10 strawberries to get that 5 after we split it in half in order to give, what's her name? Suvi, sorry, Suvi at least 1 strawberry. So that was just a little extension there. All right. One more question from your instruction book page to go over, and it's involving painting a living room. So Jason is painting the area of his living room walls. We don't know how big the wall is yet. So all we know is that he's going to paint 1/4 of the area on Monday, and then on Tuesday he doubles or paints twice as much as what he did on Monday. And we're wanting to find out the remaining unpainted area. So here's the area that he starts with. He paints a little bit of it on Monday. He paints a little bit of it on Tuesday, a little bit more of it. Okay, and then we want to know how much is left. So we have to find this expression. We have to write, this expression. So we're going to start with the unknown, the W, the wall space. And on Monday, he's painting 1/4 of it. So remember, of is that keyword of multiplication. And then we're going to have, this is Monday. Okay. And then on Tuesday, whatever this was, we don't know, we're going to double it. So I'm going to put parentheses because it's weird with the fraction there. So this is Tuesday. Okay, so let's make it red. 2 times Monday is going to be what he painted on Tuesday. Now, in order to find the unpainted area, we have to start with the total and then subtract out what he did on Monday and then subtract out what he did on Tuesday. Did you see how that worked? So if you think about it, if the whole thing is W, you're going to take some of it on Monday, a little bit more of it on Tuesday, and then whatever is remaining after you subtract out those spaces is what we have to paint still. So really complicated, starting with W, subtracting out 1/4 W, then subtracting out twice 1/4 W, or 2 times 1/4 W will give you the remaining unpainted area. So now we're given W. Hallelujah. So now it's a big pluck and plop problem. So here it is, W minus 1/4 W minus 2 times 1/4 W is our expression. Now let's pluck and plop. So we're going to put in 210 to this expression times 210, and then minus, I'm going to run out of room again, 1/4 times 210. Fix that. Times 210. Okay, I fit it. So really, let's find out what 1/4 times 210 is. 1/4, let me grab my calculator, times 210. And you can use your calculator to do all of this math. And make sure you're dividing by 4 is 52 1/2. So 52.5, yep, 52.5 is what 1/4 times 210 is. Okay, so I can replace that 1/4 times 210 here with that 52.5 as well. Now I need to multiply this part before I can start my subtraction. So 210 is the total, and then I'm going to subtract out Monday. And now what is 52.5 times 2 is 105. And then I can do my subtraction. And when I plug in all those numbers, I should get 52.5. So 210 minus 52.5 is 157.5 minus 105 is 52.5. Just works out that way. Okay, so that is the end of your instruction book. Now, I did have some bonus questions that hopefully you worked through as well, if you had time. If you didn't have time, that's okay. And you can do this before the quiz if you want to. If you're home, you'll have a little bit more flexibility with your time. Otherwise, let's go through these. So you're going to see on the quiz some fractions as your variables. So I wanted you to get some practice with working with fractions. This is a basic pluck and plop, just like the end of that wall painting fun that we had with Jason. So we're going to pluck and plop, and anywhere we see an X, we're going to plop in 1/5. And I do notice there are 2 of them, so that should have been your pluck and plop work. Then I'm going to add, and I'm getting a mixed number. If I wanted to, 1/5 is the same as 2/10. I could switch over to decimals. That is an option. Or if you're using your calculator and you want to keep it with the fractions, it would be 4 and 1/5. So that's the mixed number. When you combine those, I'm going to switch over to decimals because I can use my calculator, and that'll work better for me. So 6 times 1/5 ends up being, I did it over here, 1 and 2/10. Now I need to multiply 9 times 4 and 1/5, which I'm either working with my fraction here or my decimal. Since I'm doing decimals, I'm just going to pop that into my calculator. And when I do, I get 37 and 8/10. And when I add them, it works out to a whole number. So if you're working with decimals, especially when it's a multiple choice question and you're seeing nothing but whole numbers, if you do it correctly, it should work out to a whole number on your quiz as well. The next one I created was those triangle questions. And I know we did some of these together Monday and on Friday, the previous week. So this is going to be remembering the trick I showed you. So remember, when you have this area formula, we can get rid of this fraction of 1/2 by multiplying it by 2, because that will cancel out to be a 1. So I can multiply the area by 2 and have these 2 equations be similar. Okay, so twice the area is equal to the base times the height, because of this concept that 2 triangles make a rectangle. That's why this works. Okay, so all we have to do when we're asked for a missing dimension is double the area. So 20 times 2 is going to be equal to 8 times something. In this case, it's the length. So 40 is equal to 8 times something. And I know my math facts, 8 times 5 is 40. So the length is going to be 5 units. So you will have some work with pluck and plop. This is a little bit more challenging because we're dealing with area. An area has formulas that we're going to get into much more depth when we do geometry. So this is just a little preview for that. All right. You will see decimals in your quiz, so I wanted you to practice that a little bit. Again, it's still just pluck and plop. Oops, sorry, that's a subtraction, not a equal sign. And so when I pluck and plop, I'm going to put my 850 in, and then I'm going to use my calculator to do this multiplication first on the right. And I get 850 minus, when I plug it in, it's going to be 340. And then our final answer when we subtract is 510. So that one was pretty straightforward. You are also going to have two different variables to pluck and plop. So I wanted you to practice that. And this is our first expression. And we had to pluck and plop looking like this. 30 minus 14 times 1/7. Again, you're going to deal with some fractions here. 14 over 1 is the same as 14. So when we do this multiplication, it ends up to be a lovely little 2. And when we subtract, we get 28. So now we have a different expression here with b squared minus 10a. And sometimes the variables are kind of switched around. So that's what I wanted you to make sure you're careful about. 4 squared is going to be subtracted from the product of 10 and 3. So what I wanted you to notice here is that when you actually multiply, you are going to get a negative situation, because 16, it's like those strawberries all over again. You can't give 30 strawberries away to someone if you only have 16. So I wanted you to see that as a possibility. And when you are popping this into your calculator, you do get a negative 14. Am I expecting you to be able to solve this? No, I just want you to use your calculator at that point and recognize that, hey, it's going to be a negative number. So here's the rest of your day and your tasks, because I know you're learning from home. I want you to hand in the exit ticket, which is a basic question of, are you prepared for the quiz? And then in your quiz workbook, pages 18 through 20 are the problems in your iReady quiz. Please write down your thoughts, because if I need to refer back to your thoughts when I'm regrading this for whatever reason, I could give you partial credit if you prove to me that, hey, yeah, I got the right answer. It's right here in my book, but I just typed in the wrong one on the quiz. So please be careful when you are transferring your answers into iReady and also writing it down so that we can refer back to it. Make sure you're handing in the fact that you completed the quiz in Google Classroom so that I can give you your grade back. That's it. And hopefully you found the answers helpful in preparing you for the quiz. Good luck, guys. I'll see you next time.